Russian Canadian, you know?
You're from Canada?
Canada? Yes. It's
I'm
okay.
sorry. And your name was?
Vadim.
Oh, God.
What up, Casanova? Today we're going to be doing another quick infield breakdown. I'll be showing you a few clips from an interaction. This is a much longer interaction. I think it's close to an hour, but I'll be showing you a few clips just to demonstrate a few points, a few important concepts, show you how to navigate certain situations. So this was filmed a few years ago in LA at a lounge/restaurant. This is maybe, I don't know, midnight, 1 a.m. So you're gonna see me approach this girl.
Excuse me. Can I just barge in here like that? And push through everybody? Are you Italian?
No, I'm Russian.
You're Russian. Actually?
Actually.
Как вас зовут?
What?
White.
Как вас зовут?
Как вас зовут, девушка? Очень приятно. Куда мы убегаем?
Домой спать.
Почему?
That time.
All right, so you see the girl walking towards the exit, and I stop her head on in a pretty dominant, intentful fashion. I, grab her lightly by the shoulder. I make strong eye contact. At some point, I have both of my hands on her shoulders. There's a bit of a smirk. So it's pretty like, bam, what's up, And but I balance that with, well, first of all, the smirk, but also I over dramatize. I balance that with a little bit of, flirtatious humor. I over dramatize. I assume this funny make-believe scenario like, excuse me, you can't just like come barging in here, pushing through people. What up, Casanova? On August 11th, we're finally releasing the free 4-part workshop leading up to the Honest Chemistry launch. In this workshop, I will teach you my unique perspective on dating, male-female chemistry, and everything from creating sexual tension to an amazing connection, so you can finally build the kind of love life you want. All you have to do is click the link in the comments below and sign up for the VIP notification list to get access to the workshop, PDF lesson guides, and a free uncut real-life footage bonus video. So go do that. And let's get back to the video. So she knows that I'm just like exaggerating, making something up. And you can do that sometimes. You can just come up to a girl and just make up some random scenario that could be somewhat realistic in the context. Like you see two girls talking, at the restaurant. You can be like, guys, are you conspiring how to take down that chandelier? Can't blame you, it's pretty nice, okay? So I roll with that, and just a quick note, this is a really good way of engaging a girl who's walking through a venue. Being that force, okay, that just kind of stops her. That sets a really good frame. It's like the guy's a leader. He's dominant. Okay, he's doing things on his own terms. He's going for what he wants, okay? This is similar to how it's important to get the girl to stop during the day when, for example, she's walking on the street, okay, to set that same tone. Now, it's different during the day. You'd never just like approach her head on like this and grab her by the arms, right? You run up and you stop at an angle and you kind of signal stop. It's different mechanically, but the idea is the same, to get them to stop so that, one, she's more focused, right? And she actually stops. And two, to convey these elements that I just mentioned. Now here, right after I initiate the interaction, you see me switch to something completely different. You see me switch to, I ask her, are you Italian? Right, like in the moment, I'm just like, that's the next thing that comes to my mind. Like, hey, are you Italian? Just because I feel like it. You don't have to stick to that initial thread that you opened with, which didn't even make sense. It was make-believe to begin with. Like, you can't just come barging in here, blah, blah, blah. It's just to kind of start, get the whole thing going. It's a joke. And then bam, next thing, on your own terms. Are you Italian? No, she's not. Now you see me for some moment, for some little period of time, maintain that higher more intentful pressure, but then you see me relax it, right? You want to, at some point, relax it. Otherwise, it's too much. So I find out she's Russian, and I'm like, where are you off to? And she's like, oh, I'm going home. It's that time. Okay, so she's trying to leave. She's on her way home. Okay, she's already in some sense committed to the idea that, and sure, some guy is starting to hit on her, flirt with her. That's not enough for her to suddenly just deviate course. Okay, so you have to fight for it a little. Okay, a lot of guys don't fight for it. It's like, oh, well, the girl's going home, okay. You gotta fight for a little. How else are you going to, one, get the girl? Two, you have to signal to her that you're worth it and that she knows that you think that she's worth fighting for. Okay, so this is very important.
That time.
Telling me this is that time. You have to be, hold on, let me stand over here. You have to be up early to water the plants, is that it?
To feed the cats and shit.
To feed the cats and shit? I mean, you're out on a Friday night, the cats can wait a little, the plants can die a little. How often do you meet a charming Russian Canadian,
You're from Canada?
Canada?
Oh.
Yes. It's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Don't be. It's not my fault.
I know.
My parents just chose to go there. Wait, who are you here with?
And here you see me continue being physical with her. Nothing crazy, okay? Nothing too suggestive, but it's important. It's communicating that I'm comfortable with touching, and it's setting that tone for more physical intimacy. It's creating more comfort between us. And the idea here is you give yourself permission and then you adjust if necessary. If the girl signals to you that she's uncomfortable, you calibrate, you adjust if necessary. You don't get too weird, you calibrate and adjust if necessary. But here, I'm giving myself the permission, I'm kind of cluing in that, it's okay. And if you're not sure sometimes, just test it out and adjust. And then she's like, well, I gotta go, blah, blah, blah. And what I like to do is I put things into perspective for the girl, like what could be more important, than hanging out with this cool or charming, Russian Canadian guy, or however it is you want to describe yourself, the guy with the red shoes, this kind of guy, that kind of guy, whatever. But you're painting yourself to be like a cool guy, but you're doing it in a not too cocky, it's kind of like a charming way, and you're letting her know, like, hey, what's more important? You gotta water the plants or whatever, feed the cat, blah blah. And of course she internally knows how serious it is for her to go home, right? To what extent she can push it. She can gauge that internally. Your job is to push it, and then see what's up. If she really can't stay, if someone's picking her up right there outside, well then maybe you have like a few minutes with the girl, maybe you'll get the number closed. But if she can afford to go home an hour later, then see what's up. And here you sell her with two things. You sell her on the fact that, hey, you're persistent, and two, you're humorously letting her know, hey, you're this awesome fucking guy, how could you fucking pass on this? Not to mention, look at this cool, lighthearted attitude that you're exhibiting. And notice that at some point, I check her out. I think I do it twice, okay, up and down. And I do this unapologetically, okay? You'll see me sometimes do this in my videos, especially at night, but I'll do it sometimes during the day. And sometimes girls will even catch it. Are you just checking me out? Yes. Okay, own that shit. Yes, she's fucking hot. You're checking her out. You can't help it. You're a man. Own it. Own it. Girls love it. Okay, girls fucking love it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't help myself. You look good. You got some nice curves. Whatever compliment you want to throw in there. Now, towards the end, important, you see me switch from, flirty, intentful banter, okay, to just something normal, something chill, something logistical. Like, hey, so who are you here with? Da 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 da. Release some of the pressure, release some of this relieve some of this like higher temperature, like flirty stuff. You don't want to continue that for too long, okay? You want periods of that, but then you switch. You switch because you also need to come off more normal, more relatable. I always say, convey intent, make it relatable, lead, and escalate the level of perceived intent over time. And of course, you have to calibrate, throughout. That's kind of the general structure. Another quick thing that I forgot to mention is at the beginning, when I'm fighting for her, you see me reposition myself. And this is another great example of doing things on your own terms, doing what's most comfortable, most conducive to the interaction. So I guess I was in a bit of a weird situation there where I had these people to the left of me, and it just didn't feel very comfortable, didn't feel like I could maneuver well. So I'm like, bam, let me stand over here. Okay, you just do it.
And your name was?
Vadim.
Oh, God.
Here we are.
What are you doing in LA, Vadim, Canadian?
Just like meeting exotic American girls.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm here for 5 months. We go back and forth.
Who's sweet?
My business partner and I.
Oh, okay. I don't see anybody else standing here, so I was confused about sweet.
I have some friends scattered around. No, we were working on a startup. Long story short. So we, go back and forth.
What's the startup?
I don't even know you.
It's your job.
You want me to divulge this secret information?
Not
You could be a competitor.
I am not a competitor. I do business management, so there's nothing about me that's competition.
Business management. Russians always love the sound of prestigious sounding.
I don't work for Russians. I work for artists and entertainers.
You're missing the point.
There is no point.
It's a side note. You have Russian parents. You know what it's like.
I don't
You don't?
know what it's like.
What do you mean?
All of it.
Look at you, an enigma wrapped in a mystery.
So here it's interesting to note this dichotomy that plays out, how I go back and forth between being more casual, familiar in how I'm positioned, kind of away from her and towards the environment, not like boom. My eye contact is more casual and intermittent. I get distracted by the environment. So between that and, more intentful, right? Checking her out. You'll see there's another moment where I check her out again. When she questions me about the startup, I kind of grab her by the hand, make that eye contact. I'm like, I don't even know you, right? And there's this sexual, intentful kind of subcommunication, which then right after I again just relax. So it's good to have that back and forth where you sprinkle in these moments of more, intentful, sexualized behavior, higher pressure behavior, but then you relax and you're normal, okay? And that one relieves the pressure. The back and forth, builds up the sexual tension. It's like you build it up, you release it. You build it up, you release it. You also want to be normal, right? You also want her to look forward to these things, right? Not to just overwhelm her, okay? Now, I'm already starting to get the sense that this girl, has that attitude. I don't want to say attitude because that has a negative connotation, but she's got that feisty, tough, I'm gonna challenge you, I'm gonna bust your balls personality. So you already start to see that coming out when I make that comment about business management and how Russian parents love, titles like that, and kids working for, companies like KPMG and how it sounds prestigious. I'm trying to kind of connect with her and relate with her here, but she's appreciating that, but she's also busting my balls. And it's because, I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but it's because, for one, it's fun for her. It's just fun for her. Don't take that as some kind of a tough, shit test she's putting you through. In some sense, it could be perceived as a test, meaning that if you fail to continue being cool and doing your thing, and start being all weird and reactive and take these things seriously, then in some sense you failed an inadvertent, indirect test, okay? But really this is her way of just having fun, you know, flirting. And of course, subconsciously, she's also trying to like weed out the guys who are fucking soft. So you see this kind of stuff, just roll with it. Have fun with it as well. If she wasn't interested, she wouldn't be there.
We made it.
We made it.
Took the tall wet. Grab some napkins. Napkins.
It's just a wet bar. It's okay.
See, problem, solution. Problem, solution.
I didn't see the problem.
It's a wet bar. You know what would happen? You would like put your arms there and they would get all wet.
So
You'd
you
be like,
should put your arms there. That's why you stand there like this.
you're supposed to be a practical person.
I am. That's why I don't touch shit.
Would you like a cucumber?
I wouldn't. It's about to come in my drink.
Not allowed to touch the cucumbers?
No, bro, it's fine. Get away, fingers in me, mate.
That's fair. That's fair.
What do you have to?
I'll have a beer. What would you like?
What is that melon vodka cucumber?
Charlie.
Okay, so we arrived to the bar. And here is another great example of doing things on your own terms. So we get to the bar and, you know, the counter is wet. So I'm like, fuck, I need to wipe that shit. I don't like for the bar to be wet. We're gonna be standing there, right? Very practical. If I didn't like the spot that we were in, I'd be like, you know, let me pick a better spot. Okay, a lot of guys just kind of like, you know, this is similar to like me repositioning myself or whatever. A lot of guys are just kind of like at the mercy of the environment and they're just like not like taking the situation in control, which is not good for them. And it certainly doesn't signal that you're like a dominant guy that like, you know, gets shit done, does shit on his own terms. So it doesn't matter that, you know, it doesn't matter that she's like busting my balls about it, right? It doesn't matter. You stick to what you think is right. She's just being difficult for the sake of fucking being difficult. Right? You'll see that this is her general MO. But I'll tell you this, she will respect you for doing shit on your own terms. You want to fucking wipe the counter, you wipe the counter. Okay, and then I just changed the topic because I don't care to talk about this anymore, and because I see a cucumber standing in the glass that they use as a garnish, and that's the thing that just comes to mind. Right? I'm like, do you want a cucumber? Right? I'm just amusing myself here. Do you want a cucumber? And just put on an accent, right? You do things that amuse you. Okay, I encourage that. Do things that fucking amuse you. Do things that you feel like. You see the fucking cucumber? You talk about the cucumber. And you notice here the bartender, you know, gives me a little bit of shit for like touching the garnishes, right? To be fair, right? Touching them with my fingers. And you know, that's cool, right? Don't get weird about that. It's like, oh, the bartender told me not to do it and the girl saw that. It's like, oh, weird, like, da-da-da. No, it's like, oh, okay, that's cool, yeah, da-da-da-da. Carry on, order the drink.
You know, I lost my fucking custom Toronto hat a few days ago.
Thank goodness.
That made me very sad.
Dry.
That's the sip, and that's for you. Thank you very much.
Are they green?
They're blue.
I was very sad. I didn't cry, but they made me hang it up. And then when I came back, it wasn't there anymore.
And it was the end of it.
Yeah, that was the end of it. And you know, now I have to wait until I get to Toronto to get this hat.
So unfortunate. So sorry.
I love your genuineness. You're so genuine.
I am.
Some might say you're sarcastic, but I'd say no. She's just very genuine. It comes off as sarcastic.
Sincerity.
So this clip is like, you know, a good half hour into the interaction, and you can see that she is continuing to be sarcastic and difficult. I'm sharing this little story about how I lost some like custom, you know, cap that I had from Toronto. I left it at some bar. I was kind of bummed out about it. Whatever, just sharing some kind of story. And she's continuing to be like, oh, I don't give a fuck, like nonchalant, like difficult, sarcastic. So look, a couple of things about girls like this. One, it's fun for them. like I said before. 2, this is a way for her to have her guard up. This is a facade, okay? This helps her feel more in control. This helps her feel less vulnerable. A lot of girls resort to these kind of shields because of their personality, because of what's happened to them in the past, a bunch of factors. You know, that's a topic for a different video, but the point is, look, she's there, she's interested, okay? She's interested. So you don't take any of that shit personally. I also enjoy this kind of banter. I sometimes enjoy these like difficult, challenging, bitchy girls because I know they're into it. This is just their way of fucking, of dancing the dance, if you will, of flirting. But I am getting annoyed. And you see me kind of address it in this light, fun, humorous way where I kind of grab her, you know, by the arm, and I'm like, you're so fucking genuine. You know, I'm ironically being sarcastic. You're so fucking genuine. Da, 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 da. So I address it in this light way, but I will say that at some point in these kind of situations, you need to address it in a real way. Okay, you gotta level with the girl. You have to, for the sake of the interaction, for the sake of showing her you're not gonna like continue putting up with this. Now, you know, when is a good time to do that? Well, there are no hard and fast rules. In this situation, I was just kind of rolling with it. I could have addressed it sooner. I didn't feel like it. It wasn't bothering me that much. I was kind of having fun with it. But I figured at some point I would. You know, either if we go on a date or either later tonight as things develop. Because you're not going to be able to really connect with the girl properly if she's got this guard up, right? So at some point you got to say something like, all right, you know, you drop her name, right? It's always good to use the name, make it personal. Can you do me a favor? You know, there's ways you can do this, different ways you can do this, but like something along the lines of, hey, can you do me a favor? I know you have fun being all sarcastic and, you know, and busting on balls and all that, and I'm enjoying it, I do. But like, can we just like level here, girl? Can we just like, you know, be real for a bit? Yeah. Okay, so, and you see what she says, and she might initially resist and be like, oh, like da-da-da, you can't handle me. And you wanna push it, you wanna push that realness. No, and sometimes you gotta be like firm, like, hey, no, seriously, just fucking be real with me. Just enough of this shit. I get it. I get that you're trying to like, you know, be all tough and blah, 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 but girl, and you can mix like a tough stance on it with like a warm and fuzzy stance, okay? Like, I'm vulnerable too, and like, I get it. So it's like, girl, just be real with me, girl. It's like, I love you, you know, or I like you. Just kind of give her a hug. Like, it's okay. It's okay. You can be real with me. I won't judge you. This is a judgment-free zone. And trust me, you'll slowly start shifting the gears. And sometimes she might resort back to that behavior, and you call her out on it again. You can even give her like a stern look. Hey, what did we say about this? What did we say about this? Okay? So, tell me something. Tell me something genuine. Okay? So it might be a bit of a process. She might need your help doing that, opening up, but you'll see what a magical and wonderful transition that can be, and how, like, what a connection you can build as a result of that. Because it's like, hey, this guy not only gets it, but he's setting the tone for what is acceptable, okay, and what is constructive and productive for our chemistry here. But FYI, you cannot do this too prematurely. You cannot do this before you've attracted the girl, before you've built some sexual tension, before you've gotten her to invest into the interaction. Otherwise, it's almost like, sometimes it can work, sometimes it can work, but otherwise it's like, well, who are you to start, you know, correcting me and addressing this kind of stuff? It is case by case basis, but generally you want to build it up a little bit more. You can make little comments early on, like, girl, just be real with me. You know, you can plant little seeds and test the waters if you see a girl just being too sarcastic in the beginning. But wait a little bit longer to properly address it.
How's that Elvis Presley song go?
I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
Blue suede shoes.
Blue suede shoes. I don't know Elvis Presley really well. I'm not a big fan. But if we were talking about the Beatles, I might be able to continue this conversation.
You like the Beatles?
I do.
This in the sky with the...
Are you singing again?
Why wouldn't I be?
Your voice is amazing. It's like a lullaby.
My mother, she used to tell me I have the voice of God. I said, see, Mama.
I guess we have a different perspective of what God is.
You're just bitter because
Your voice is prettier than mine.
because I have a more beautiful voice than you.
Yeah.
But I'll teach you. It's not a big deal.
What are you going to teach me? How to sing?
How to sing. Like an Italian opera singer.
Except you're Russian.
So what?
And you're not an opera singer.
A few YouTube video tutorials and you're good. Che cazzo?
What?
Che cazzo?
English, bitch.
One second, I have to go to the food. Don't put anything in my drink.
So a couple of things worth noting here. One, again, I'm doing things on my own terms and what's fun for me. So if I feel like singing, I start singing some random lyric, okay, of the Beatles. And again, she's giving me a tough time. Oh, you're singing again, da-da-da. And you see at some point, I just look really annoyed. There's a part of me that wants to like just slap her, right? Like, and address this. But a part of me is like, well, I'll just probably make out with her instead to relieve some of this. And sometimes you could say stuff like, if you're at a certain point with the girl, you can be like, I'm gonna fucking slap you, right? And it's clearly like playful. Okay, like you're, you know, let her know she's annoying you. But anyway, I just go for the makeout at some point. Okay, and notice here I'm like also weaving in funny and casual conversations simultaneously, which I like to do sometimes. It just makes it so. Like the whole thing's so casual, right? Like so organic, like we're already an item. My whole thing is pretend like you and the girl are already an item. So it's like we're making out, but we're also having this like, you know, funny, casual conversation. Sometimes, by the way, I like to do that during sex. I like to crack jokes during sex. You know, when you're having these like first makeouts and stuff for a lot of guys and for the girl as well, it can be kind of awkward. There's this like pressure. Does he like me? Does he not? Am I performing well? Ooh, like we've crossed that line, blah, blah, blah. And you know, when you act like this, you reinforce this frame of familiarity. It's like, yeah, we're already an item. Everything is cool. This guy's just rolling with shit, you know, and he's just like setting the tone for how normal this interaction should be. Okay, anyway, so at the end there, as we're making out, you see my filmer gets caught somehow. It's happened a few times in the past. So he gets escorted out of the premises. And I guess I recognize that, and that's why I go to the bathroom to call him, to coordinate with him. But long story short, I'm probably there with her for another 10 minutes or so, and then she has to leave. And all we're able to catch is, he wasn't able to come back in, is this partial number close at the end. Not even sure why we couldn't get more. Maybe the battery died or whatever, but these last couple of seconds.
818.
Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you got some value from this quick little infield breakdown. Let me know if you want to see more of these. I've been enjoying putting them together. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Drop a comment below. Let me know any questions or concerns you have or any general feedback. And don't forget to sign up for the 4-video online chemistry workshop starting August 4th, leading up to the Honest Chemistry course. Tons of value for you guys. Link in the description below. You'll also get access to an uncut real-life footage, 30-minute interaction that's super entertaining and insightful. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.